Okay, everybody, so I just went over the maintenance diet and the zone diet. So I gave you two different diets to choose from because I know no two people are alike and everyone has their own preferences. So the benefit to doing the zone diet is that it's a little bit more easier for beginners. There's more allowance for carbs, and I know a lot of people love carbs such as bread and even soda and things like that. So the zone diet does give you a little bit more options as far as like adding carbs into your diet, but the thing about the zone diet is that you have less fat to take in. So if you are aiming for 150 pounds, like in my previous examples, and you're doing 175 in protein, 175 in carbs, but you're doing 38 grams in fat, that means if you were to go to a restaurant, it's gonna be a little bit harder to pick out something because restaurants cook a lot with oil, so you have to be very, very cautious with what you eat. And also when you're cooking at home, 38 grams of fat, I mean, that's basically 2 tablespoons of butter or oil. So if you're cooking, you gotta be wary of that. You might have to bake your chicken, bake your potatoes, and things like that. So if you really want to eat more carbs, the zone diet might be best for you. So, but what I think is best for everyone, if you can do this, is go with the maintenance diet, which is a more low carb option, but you do have to eat a minimum of carbs. So I know a lot of people are on the keto to where they don't want any carbs whatsoever, but carbs are needed for energy. So you need some carbs, at least a little bit, to go into the gym and have some energy and burn off some calories, build some muscle. But with the maintenance diet, here's why I love the maintenance diet, is that when you plan out your meals and you aim for, like, let's just say going back to my example again, at 150 pounds, if I'm gonna have a minimum of 150 grams of protein, but I can have up to 300 grams of protein. So it kind of gives you that little leverage. I don't have 300 grams of protein every day. I go about 200 to 225. But getting back to it is the carbs though, is that you're gonna have 150 carbs maximum, but 75 carbs minimum. So you have 75 grams of carbs, which is easy to do. You can get 75 grams of carbs in just 2 meals, but because you're aiming for at least a certain amount of 75, you have a buffer between 75 and 150. So if I plan out my meals, so for instance, when I go to cook this morning and I prep out my meals for today, I want to have 75 grams of carbs within my meals, but later on tonight, if I want chocolate or if I want a bite of this, a bite of that, and there's some carbs in it, I have that buffer between 75 and 150. So I still have 75 carbs as a buffer that I can just still enjoy my day with. So you're not limited onto a strict diet, whereas in the zone diet, you're eating constantly this much, and you have to stick to it, pretty strictly. So the maintenance diet gives you a little more flexibility when you plan out your day and plan out your meals. Plus, the maintenance diet also gives you some extra fats, up to 75 grams of fat. So if you want to eat something such as salmon, which is a fatty meat, or bison, or red meat, things like that have more fat in it. So on the zone diet, you don't really have that option because salmon has like 12 grams of fat per serving, and then also with bison and chicken thighs and things like that. So on the zone diet, you can't really eat too many fatty meats or even cook with oil, but on the maintenance diet, at least you have some, flavor with the oil, which I personally love. Plus, fat is really good for your hormones, and so it keeps your body in balance as far as that goes. And so the maintenance diet is my preference when it comes to how I'm gonna structure my meals throughout the day. And so in the next following videos, I'm gonna give you how I plan out my meals every day and how I plug in my calories into my meals and how I do my meal plan. So I'm gonna show you how I do my maintenance diet, and if you wanna go with the zone diet, it's the same exact thing, as far as like plugging in your numbers and like knowing, okay, I'm gonna do X amount of protein every day, now I have to figure out these numbers, X amount of carbs, and I'm gonna figure this out. So I'm gonna show you how I do my maintenance diet, and if you go with the zone diet, you're more than welcome to do the same thing, but go with your own numbers and your own structure. But I'm gonna show you how I cook and how I weigh up my food and how I discover, the best diet or the best structure, how I'm gonna plan out my whole day. So usually it goes with egg whites, and I use like an English muffin for breakfast, so I get 25 carbs there. but I also get lots of protein and egg whites. And then my next meal might have rice in it, but then as the day goes on, I have less carbs. And then if I have a workout that day, I'm gonna have some carbs after my workout, which I'll explain to you later. But so for right now though, I'm gonna explain to you how to weigh out your food, how to calculate your diet, how to calculate your meals, so that way all your meals are well balanced. So let's get into the next videos, and I'm gonna show you how to create your meal plans.